You learn the first rule in a parking lot at 2 a.m. Never ask what's in the bag. The man doesn't threaten you. He doesn't need to. He just looks at your shoes, your cheap jacket, your tired face, and knows exactly who you are. Broke, anonymous, replaceable. He says it's one run. Easy money, no questions. The cash feels too clean for a dirty job. That's what hooks you. Not greed, relief, rent gets paid, phone stays on, fridge gets filled. You tell yourself it's temporary. Just one night. Just one bag. But systems like this don't recruit with speeches. They recruit with timing. They find you at the exact moment survival starts sounding like permission. And before sunrise, you've taken the first step into a world built on roots, silence, and people who make fortunes by staying one room away from the risk. Because the bag is never the point. The ladder is. Level 1, the carrier. You take the bag and keep your eyes forward. No one tells you names. No one explains the bigger picture. You get a place, a time, and a warning to stay calm. That's how low-level work functions inside these networks. Public reporting from Interpol and Europol shows that organized smuggling operations often rely on expendable people at the bottom. Drivers, guides, recruiters, and others paid for one narrow task at a time. Interpol, Europol. That makes you perfect. You're not powerful yet. You're useful. There's a difference. Useful people don't get trusted. They get tested. You carry something once, maybe twice, and tell yourself you're still separate from it. You didn't plan it. You didn't profit big. You didn't build the machine. You just touched one piece. That's the lie that lets you sleep. You tell yourself there are no victims because you don't see any. No faces, no stories, just a handoff in the dark and money in your pocket by sunrise. If you were desperate enough, would you do the same thing? The second job pays more, and that's how they test you. Level 2, the driver. Now you're behind the wheel. You don't carry one bag anymore, you carry timing, pickups, silence. You learn quickly that nobody at your level ever gets the whole map. You're given one stretch of road, one destination, one voice on a burner telling you when to move. Smuggling operations work across land, air, and sea, and routes keep shifting whenever borders harden or enforcement changes. Interpol describes these networks as adaptive businesses, while Europol notes that low-level facilitators often handle transport as part of a flexible, compartmentalized chain. Interpol, Europol. That's when the fear changes shape. At level 1, you feared getting caught. Here, you fear being forgotten. If something goes wrong, nobody rescues you. Nobody claims you. The men above you survive by making sure the men below them can disappear without damaging the structure. And still, you feel proud, because danger has a way of imitating importance. You start mistaking exposure for status. Then one night, the route changes mid-job, the pressure rises, and the voice on the phone asks what you think. Then one night, they stop giving you directions and start asking for decisions. Level 3, the arranger. You stop moving the load and start moving the night around it. Now, your phone never sleeps. One person is late. Another panics. A room falls through. A pickup shifts. You fix things before anyone important hears about them. That is what middlemen do inside real criminal networks. Europol's reporting says they recruit, coordinate, oversee logistics, and manage accommodation across stages of the journey. Europol. This is the first level that feels like power. People wait for your answer now. Drivers call you, clients call you. Nervous men with bad options call you because you sound calm. You start believing calm is the same thing as control. It isn't. It's just the mask control wears. And your conscience starts adjusting to your income. You hear yourself say things you never thought you'd say. Not cruel things, efficient things, Practical things, the kind that shave guilt down into paperwork and scheduling. Someone needs a place to stay. Someone needs moving. Someone needs to wait. You don't ask whether the system is wrong. You ask whether the delay will cost money. The money gets better the moment your conscience gets quieter. Level 4, the route broker. You begin thinking in corridors instead of streets. A border is no longer a line on a map. It's pressure, timing, weather, attention, bureaucracy. You stop seeing cities as places. They become nodes. Delays become costs. Crackdowns become detours. One closure pushes traffic somewhere else. One arrest creates demand for someone more disciplined. Interpol has warned that smuggling routes have become more interconnected and complex, and Europol describes networks that range from small local crews to larger international structures capable of facilitating entire journeys. Interpol, Europol. That complexity starts living inside your head. You study pressure points without calling them that. You memorize which corridor gets hotter after new policies, which contact goes silent under scrutiny, which branch of the chain bends and which one breaks. It feels strategic. It feels elite. It feels like you finally graduated from being a worker into being a mind. But there is a moral cost to abstraction. The further you move from the ground, the easier it becomes to treat human risk like logistics. You don't say danger, you say delay. You don't say fear, you say friction. That's how darkness professionalizes itself. Now you're not following the route. You are the route. Level 5. The collector. The first time you count the cash, the whole world changes. Before this, you handled movement. Now, you handle proof. Proof that somebody arrived. Proof that a promise was fulfilled. Proof that the chain gets fed. Level 6. The front operator. You buy cleaner clothes and start speaking softer. On paper, you look respectable. Maybe you run transport, maybe hospitality, maybe a service company with polished branding and normal hours. That surface matters. Europol has publicly noted that criminal networks can hide activity behind legal business structures, accommodation, transport services, corrupt support, and document fraud while maintaining the appearance of legitimacy. Europol. This is the level that splits you in half. Daytime, you shake hands. Nighttime, you solve problems. Respectable people never have to imagine. You stop dressing like risk and start dressing like trust. That's when the system truly enters your bloodstream, because now your public life and your private life depend on each other. You tell yourself you're safer because you're farther from the street, but the opposite is true. The safer you look in public, the worse you become in private.
Level 8. The Replaceable King. You finally reach the level you once imagined, and that is where the illusion dies. You thought there would be a throne, a final room, a moment where the chaos obeyed you completely. But UNODC's research on organized crime makes one thing clear. Some groups are hierarchical, many are networked or hybrid, and removing one leader rarely destroys the market. Demand creates replacements. Profit writes succession plans faster than loyalty ever could. UNODC hierarchical model, UNODC networked structure. That means you were never building a kingdom. You were renting a position inside a machine. The younger version of you thought the top would feel powerful. It doesn't. It feels hollow. You own nicer things. You sleep less. Every room is quieter when you enter, but your mind is louder than ever. You can't trust loyalty because you know exactly what built this world in the first place. Money, pressure, demand, and men who said yes when they were desperate. You spent years climbing, only to discover there was never a top. The parking lot looks the same at 2 a.m., same pale lights, same wet pavement. Same cheap jacket on a kid pretending he isn't scared. You pass slowly and watch him shift his weight from one foot to the other. He's trying to look calm, trying to look like he chose this. A car door opens. A man steps out with something small in his hand. Not a speech, not a threat. Just relief disguised as an opportunity. You know the rhythm because you lived it. One easy run. Fast money. No questions. And for a second, you understand the ugliest truth in the whole system. It never needed your loyalty. Only your turn. Then the kid reaches for the bag, and the night begins again.